All right, so one last quick thing before we actually do continue this. And I know I already went over the intro with that. But to clarify, before I do this video, I have not played uh, Mario Kart World. Of course, many people already know why. I have a Switch OLED and a Switch Lite, not the Switch 2 yet, and even then, I do not have any tendency to play Mario Kart World. I do not like Mario Kart. In fact, honestly, one of the reasons why I got this game is by now, a lot of you are very aware that I love Sonic Racing series more than Mario Kart. And so, with that being said, though, I want to say that because most of the time, as this title suggests, recent reviews have been saying this is the Mario Kart World killer. Like it's gonna kill Mario Kart and it's gonna murder Nintendo. Um, and I could, to an extent, I could see that. But today I do want to go ahead and give my thoughts on the game and kind of explain why, even though I am mixed with that statement, I do believe this is a great game regardless. Although I will say I am mixed with saying that this is a Mario Kart killer, to say the least. Um, so yeah, this is in fact the fourth entry in the Sonic Racing series. And it's an interesting one because this is also sort of a return to form in some way with the new DLC characters. However, this racing game is very different than the most of the previous games that came before it. While some stuff has came before it came back to this game, in all honestly, this is definitely a brand new experience to say the least. But it is a very good one to say the least. So for for context, one of the biggest things about Sonic Racing, this version, Cross Worlds, is the fact that yes, the tracks will change each lap. You will get the first standard lap, then you go to a new world on the second lap, and you come back to the first original world for the third lap. At least so far in my gameplay. So I know I haven't tested out the other multiplayer stuff, and it's going to be a while until I do that. But for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. And honestly, the best way I would describe this game is holy crap, it's definitely good with life improvements and all that. Like, holy fuck. So, for context, this game, we'll get to the driving in a bit, but other than the driving, this game's gameplay and its customization is holy crap a lot. You can customize cars, literally. It's much more better than the previous Sonic Team Racing with that customization, and it's pretty good. The roster is pretty straightforward. Still great to see returning characters, including ones that we haven't seen return in a while, like Jet, the Hawk, and all that. Um, and to be fair, the items is well balanced as usual. In fact, one of my major complaints involving Mario Kart is, ironically, I don't think the items are balanced, honestly, no matter what version it is. But weirdly enough, Crossworlds sort of try to go to a more stance towards Mario Kart items, but they're definitely much more better than the original Mario Kart items. In fact, it's actually an improvement from the previous game, Team Racing, which also kind of ironically tried to do that as well, but it kind of suck at it because they are just stuck with the wisps. And there are still wisps as items, but they're just general better items that came from parts of the series as well. Like the return of the green glove, that is obviously a ripoff of the green shell. They changed the blue shell to be like Big Boo Boo, you know, the freaking big ghost from Sonic Adventure 2. Um, there are a lot of fun items. There's a lot. Like my personal favorite actually had to be the Chaos Cow because weirdly enough, it just gives everyone, including you, an item. That is the most broken item I ever seen in a racing game, but it's also the most fun. Like I love doing that. And of course, what's also fascinating is going back to the customization. Uh, Even though I haven't gotten to the highest ranking yet, you over time when you do race and level up, you get more things to help you improve your racing and stat buffs and all that. Though weirdly enough, kind of interesting ones to say the least. For example, in order to avoid losing rings where you hit a wall, which we'll get to that in a bit, you have to get a stat to do that, or a gear as they call it. And admittedly, some of them are pretty balanced in most cases. Like the more powerful stats, you have to use free slots. Well, the sort of you have to do one slot, and it's pretty straightforward. Although it's definitely a weird one to say the least. Like again, you can definitely tell they're trying to rip off Mario Kart. I mean, at this point, we already know even Sega wanted this to be like a Mario Kart killer, to say the least, through their ad campaign, obviously. And it definitely could tell they were joking because it definitely feels like Mario Kart in some ways. Not bad Mario Kart. And heck, you can actually, during the race, you can even restart the race during the actual levels when the actual cups through tickets. You earn tickets through playing the game and doing stuff with the racings. It's kind of randomized of what you do right and what you do wrong, like Smash Brothers in some kind of weird way. Um, Alongside getting rings and stuff, like red rings and stuff. It's pretty straightforward. But what's interesting is they do have value useful, and it's not just getting more custom parts for your custom car. Instead, it can also be used to make up a certain part of the race or cup so you can redo it to try to get back in the first place. It's even customizable when, for example, you get like a rival in the game and it keeps leveling up the rival, and if you want to downgrade the level because it's becoming too tough for you to beat, you can. It gives you the option. So that's nice. Which kind of does leave us to a unique thing. Like I said, I don't consider this partially a Mario Kart killer because there is one unique thing, and that is the true gameplay. Now, the gameplay is fine, it's normal racing game stuff, basically a Mario Kart clone. However, there's two major problems. One, the boating section, they actually bring back the boating section. In fact, literally all free from Transform. And it's pretty straightforward and stuff. The boating section, you can't really drift. You actually have to bounce off the thing. You probably already heard this from other reviews. And yeah, it's a little bit, to say the least. Hey, at least it's still manageable. And to be fair, it's still useful to do the drift thing so that way you can make some cut corners. So it's not that bad, but you have to literally bounce to get boosted and all that. But speaking of which, the only issue I truly have, which isn't really a big issue, but it's definitely a weird one, even comparing to the previous Sonic racing games. Holy fuck, the driving is stiff as nails. It's literally stiff as if all the bones of your body is broken. That's how stiff it is. It's not that bad and it's not unplayable, but the driving is definitely not the same as Mario Kart because even though I do not like Mario Kart at all, even beforehand, though ironically I have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, honestly, weirdly enough, that is still more smoother and much more easy to manage than this game in some way. And that's the thing about this game too. It's a learning curve. You definitely aren't going to win your very first race on there. It's expecting you to not care about winning your first race. Trust me, I know. I win my first cup, but ironically, especially on the normal difficulty, which I started on, I did not win my first race, to say the least. And that's fine. Like, it's literally fine. The game teaches you, it doesn't punish you. In fact, it does the opposite. It has a lot of other improvements. I haven't even get into the fact that, weirdly enough, it also has a cool thing that other racing games doesn't have, and it gives you a meter on, those start boosts you usually get during the first part of the race when you starting off the race and stuff. It gives you a meter to show what how you can boost correctly. That is an improvement that none other racing games, even outside of Mario Kart, has shown, which is needed. It is nice, and it is in the options, by the way. It's the acceleration gauge or something like that. Um, but all in all, middly pretty good. Now, obviously, the two main question is what about the DLC characters and all that. Well, the DLC is not fully out yet, including the main third party, which is another kind of wacky issue I have. Not a big one because it is coming out no matter what, but it's super weird that we only start off with the. I'm blanking on her name. You know the one, the blue hair girl. I'm blanking on her name. I don't know why, but weirdly we start off with her, but we haven't got the other two main third parties they showed off. And to be fair, before people ask, I am happy with the DLC though, because at least you still get free characters. In fact, I'm hoping they use the free characters to just give us Sega type characters. Like, I'm hoping for QQs to come back because they did confirm there will be more DLC, free DLC characters, which I'm presuming is just going to be the Sega characters. Please, for the love of God, I don't know how long it will take, but please, for the love of God, bring back QQs. And literally, as for the actual pay DLC, I think it's fine. I mean, yeah, it's not my cup of tea. Like, the only two that is okay for most people, at least for me, I don't know about the others, but for me, it's Minecraft and Mega Man and Pac Man, and that's it. I don't know why they're putting Nickelodeon in here, but okay, I guess this is Nickelodeon's way to make up for their bullshit racing game, but okay. I mean, I'm not a truly a big fan. Like, the only Nickelodeon game I ever played was Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2, but that's because I got a random chance and wanted to test it out. It's an okay game, but it's not perfect. Um, so it's definitely weird that they're teaming up after their own ripoffs kind of suck, honestly. But hey, at least we're getting the DLC is fine. It's cool to see this. Uh, I'm still predicting we might get Mario. I know it might not happen, but hey, it might be a Switch exclusive. Who knows? But that leads us to the two major questions. Is this a Mario Kart killer? And how do I feel about the game with ranking? Honestly, A rank. Like, real talk. I'm mixed between an AB or A rank, to say the least. A minus. There is some problems. I wish that the third party characters came out all the way before this thing, but hey, I'm willing to wait for Joker. I mean, we're almost to October, so it's an easy wait for Joker, but still, I think that was still weird. Especially even, I feel even more bad for the Yatsuka fans who wanted the guy, which I'm blanking on his name. I only know Joker's name, and even his real name, like Ren, so what the fuck. Anyways, I'm a little bit and the driving might take people out of it, to say the least. And that still doesn't mean it's still high ranking. It's a pretty good game. I highly recommend it. However, I wouldn't say this is exactly a Mario Kart killer. It is definitely a Mario Kart World competitor. Definitely. It definitely is a good rival to Mario Kart. It's always been a good rival to Mario Kart. But I wouldn't say it killed Mario Kart World. Now, and to clarify again, I have not played the game at all, Mario Kart World, because, I don't have the Switch 2 yet. And I'm definitely going to try to get it. Although I'm not getting the game no matter what, I'm not playing it. And even then, this is coming from a guy who really don't care about that whole console war thing. But I do think, yes, I do think Sega did put their money where their mouth is, because they really did do a good job of showing. Even though I think they're kind of overblowing it themselves, I do think this is a good competitor to Mario Kart World. Again, it depends on the person's choice. I can't make this good choice because really I don't give a damn, and also really I'm not going to pick up Mario Kart World at all, and I haven't even played it, to say the least. So yeah, But anyways, yeah, it's definitely a good racing game. I highly recommend it. It is going to be a learning curve to get through it. That is the only major thing. But trust me, the life enhancements and improvements is off the charts. I think the game is well balanced. And yeah, this is a pretty good pickup. And by the way, like I said, I have a Switch OLED, and shockingly, that thing runs pretty good. Again, I'm not care of graphics at all. Many people by now know that. But if it's running smoothly on a Switch One, then you know good and well it's a pretty good game. So, anyways, this has been Floxcat, and snapping out of here. Bye bye.